Erica, I am in the Union Plaza part of downtown, the area where migrants have been sleeping on the streets for more than a week. I would say that this temporary encampment has shrunk slightly over the past few days. I would say there are about 50 to 80 people out here today. Today, the Border Patrol did not release any more migrants into the streets. There were no so-called provisional releases today. And the Border Patrol is adjusting to the way that it handles asylum seekers who are surrendering to them just a few blocks from here in Chihuahuita. Now, I spoke one-on-one today with Border Patrol Sector Chief Gloria Chavez about the changes that her agency is having to make. I also spoke to her about some concerns from law enforcement and lawmakers.
As the chief of the Border Patrol in this region, I don't want to release people into the community. That is something that is not okay with us. But the reality is that my central processing center is at capacity. I am holding right now 2,700 people in a facility that is authorized to hold 1,040, right? I have an overflow lot that I opened for additional holding capacity. Right now, I have about 500 people in that overflow lot that are waiting to get processed. Out here, as you can see, this is the staging point. This is called West Bridge, the area where the Venezuelan nationals turn themselves in. Once they come here, they're in our custody. I have medical personnel here doing medical screening. I have water, I have food, the essentials that any human being would need. From here, they go to the next step, intake, where we're getting their fingerprints, their biometrics, their photographs. We want to know who they are. Because if we have any criminals within these groups coming in, they are not going to be released into that community.
Right now, the Border Patrol is getting about 1,300 migrants a day. So what does that mean? That means every day that goes by, the city of El Paso is getting further and further behind.
Earlier this week, I spoke to Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez, who represents parts of Far East El Paso. He told me that only a handful of El Paso Border Patrol agents are actually able to patrol the border due to the amount of time spent processing asylum seekers.
On any shift in El Paso, you have about 8 Border Patrol agents that are in the field. Everyone else is processing. So essentially, there is nobody out in the field to cover this. Meanwhile, there is no end in sight.
Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez said that there were times where the El Paso sector had so many agents processing that you only had 8 agents out in the field doing what they're supposed to be doing, patrolling the border.
Will it be like this tomorrow? I don't know. Will it be like this in a month? We will see. But at least right now, I am still able to deploy Border Patrol agents to areas that won't impact the border security severely. I still have my checkpoints operational. I'm still operating with agents patrolling Santa Teresa, New Mexico, which is my second busiest station in this region.
And on Thursday, El Paso County Sheriff Richard Wiles issued a statement. He said his deputies had attempted to take 5 undocumented immigrants to multiple Border Patrol stations, but were advised they could not respond due to staffing issues.
So I saw that social post yesterday evening. Yeah. It was brought to my attention by the deputy, and it's news to me. Today, we are looking into it because I think the post said it went to 5 different stations. Well, we're following up because at the end of the day, I know that the station of El Paso here is the one that's being impacted a little bit more than the others along it. And I know my checkpoints are operational. So I want to make sure that if we did in fact have something like that take place, I want to make sure we clear it up and that we arrange a situation or a coordination so that doesn't happen again.
And back out here live again today, a slower day when it comes to asylum seekers surrendering to the Border Patrol in Chihuahuita. Smaller groups today, nothing like what we were seeing earlier this week. And whether or not that will continue, only time will tell. Coming up tonight on KFOX 14 News at 9, we will take a deeper dive into the immigration issue and take a look at the issues that migrants are facing. That's coming up tonight at 9. For now, that is the latest from downtown El Paso. Erica, we send it back to you. And this week, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis sent migrants from Texas and flew them to Martha's Vineyard, an exclusive vacation destination in Massachusetts. I asked Escobar about the busing of migrants.
The city of El Paso sends about 4 or 5 buses to New York every day. What's the difference there? Why the outcry for one and not the other?
That's a great question. And let me share with you what I have shared with the national press. You know, when you look at the motivation by Governor Abbott, Governor DeSantis, there is a real maliciousness there, right? They want to dehumanize the migrants. It is really, really important, though, always, and Governors DeSantis and Abbott are not doing this. And I hope the city is doing this because NGOs have always done this. You have to coordinate with the recipient city. And it's best to always coordinate with a recipient NGO.
Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez represents parts of Far East El Paso. He's also against the governor's busing program, but for different reasons.
It's a word of mouth. So folks are now going, hey, if you go to El Paso, they will bus you to Chicago. If you go to Del Rio, they'll bus you to San Antonio, and then you'll take a flight to New York City. I mean, this is what is happening. So all it's doing, it's encouraging more of the chaos. It's a political ploy that is turned into now policy that is now becoming a negative impact on this immigration. It's not solving anything. It's only making it worse.
So what's next for these asylum seekers and migrants who continue to arrive at the border in record numbers? Congress hasn't taken any significant action on immigration in more than 30 years. And there doesn't seem to be any clear consensus on how to move forward.
And this is dangerous, Robert. I mean, right now we're talking about people, little babies sleeping on the sidewalks. What happens when people start dying? I mean, what is it going to take?
So it's no coincidence that as we shrink legal avenues to this country, that we are seeing irregular migration increase.